Hello everybody, today I'm going to make mushroom risotto. Very simple, very tasty. It's going to delight, and I'm actually cooking for my family's dinner. They're all waiting to eat, so I better get started. What I'm also doing here is I'm roasting some mushrooms on a pan, and these will go into the dish later. I'm about to turn them over because mushrooms have a lot of water, so I need them to be slightly charred. So you see the color. When you turn the mushrooms over, they've got this beautiful golden color, so I'm turning the heat down. That's exactly what I'm about to start. So, you're going to mix olive oil with butter.
Butter.
Mix some olive oil with some butter. Okay. When that melts, then I'm going to put in my onions and chopped celery. Bear in mind, for making risotto, you must have your stock near your pan. So this is my vegetable stock. Now today we have a really special ingredient that
Porcini.
goes porcini, right? Dried porcini mushrooms, and that's gonna go in this bowl with a ladle of stock. Gavin, put the porcini mushrooms in the bowl while I put in a beautiful ladle of stock in the bowl.
Sure.
Pour them all in.
Like that?
Yep, beautiful. Now look at the porcini mushrooms. I've just put them in the hot stock, and these I'm going to remove and put them aside, and they're going to come back into the dish later. That's the beautiful stock, and that's going to go back into our main vegetable stock. There's a lot of flavor in that, and Gavin's making sure the celery and the onions are sauteing nicely, becoming soft. Soon we'll be ready to put in the risotto rice, and that'll be the next step. By the way, I'm using this rice. So there are many types of Arborio rice. This is an Italian rice. Whatever you can find in your local supermarket will do. And for my vegetable stock, I'm using this Campbell's 100% vegetable stock. I have enhanced the flavor of this stock by adding in the liquid from the porcini mushrooms. About 300 grams of risotto rice that goes in there. Give it a stir, please.
Sure.
Make sure you coat all the grains of rice evenly.
That's a lot of rice.
Now that the risotto rice is fully coated, we're going to add in a little bit of dry white wine, and I put the heat on full. So you should hear a nice sizzle. I want the alcohol to boil off, right? But it leaves behind a really nice
Wine.
taste. So you got to stir it. It's on full whack. You want the alcohol to boil off quickly, and that's when we start putting in the ladles of stock into the rice. Right, now I'm just going to quickly reduce the heat to half, and for the rest of this recipe, that's where your fire is going to be at, on half. And here's where the risotto starts cooking. You've got your ladle of stock. I always start with 2 generous ladles. And have a look at that. I've got to give this a good stir. And this rice will absorb all this beautiful stock in a manner of moments. So basically every minute or 2 you're going to add another ladle of stock, and ready to go in with another 1 ladle of stock, and again give it a good stir. Before you know it, this rice will absorb this. And to prevent overcooking or the rice becoming very starchy, I just set a timer for about 15 minutes. So this is my timer. I just go 15 minutes. That gives me a guide to when the rice should be cooked. I start the timer only after I put in the first 2 ladles of stock. At this stage, you can also add 2 generous tablespoons of tomato puree. And mix that in, and the cooking continues. So every minute or 2, when you see that the stock has been absorbed, to add in another ladle of stock. Right, the 15-minute timer has gone. So we've been cooking for about 15 minutes. A simple test is to taste the rice. If it still feels a little bit chalky, then you can go for another 3 to 5 minutes. But I just tasted it. I'm happy with it because I don't like overcooked risotto. It's beautiful, the texture, and I've got a little bit of stock left over. That's fine. So the next stage is to add some Parmesan cheese. I've also just added 2 cubes of butter to make it more rich, and I'm going to garnish it at this stage with a little bit of coriander. We're going to add on some beautiful Parmesan cheese in a minute. We're going to see. Gavin will be making the Parmesan cheese for me. Go on, Gav. What are you doing? Let's have a look.
I'm cutting up some mushrooms, and I'm also getting some Parmesan.
So a bit of lemon. Now Gavin's gonna put on the Parmesan cheese for me. Go on, son. Spread it all over. Exactly. Beautiful. Some more.
Oops, this one.
Doesn't matter. Hold the bowl closer to the pan. You're doing great. Keep going. Yep. We're getting closer to the end. It's looking more and more beautiful and starting to smell quite heavenly. And I've got the grated cheese on there. And I added a bit more coriander. I want the earth taste, the earth flavors to come out. And I'm just turning off the fire. And I'm going to leave it covered. Risotto is ready. I'm just about to plate it. So I just put a little bit of the rice. And this is the porcini mushroom with your normal flat white mushrooms. I'm just going to garnish it with a bit of the porcini mushroom. And if you want, you can add another small wedge of butter on top to make it even more decadent. That is mushroom risotto. So Papa Nash is very happy. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to give you the full recipe with all the ingredients, and you can make something as simple and as satisfying as mushroom risotto.